Hi everybody, welcome to Simply Scuba. In today's video, I'm going to be taking a closer look at the Tauschsport Guppy 2 torch. Now, it's a tiny little torch, but this is a great backup torch because there's very little to go wrong with it. It's very, very strong, and despite its small size, it can produce quite a lot of light. Let's take a closer look. Okay, so this is how it's going to arrive, in a plastic bag, which I'm not a huge fan of, but needs must, I think, because it comes with a UK adapter, because I imagine that the plug that's going to be sort of inside is going to be an EU plug. So further in, then we get the this sort of EVA case, so semi-rigid protective case to keep your torch safe inside. Zippered opening, and then on the inside, all sorts of bits and bobs. So the first thing is that we have a wrist lanyard, pretty soft. It's not that really thin, wiry kind of string. Decent amounts of sort of softness to that. You can adjust it, and then you have this protective sleeve around it. You also get 2 spare O-rings, which is quite nice. If the ones inside the torch end up sort of wearing, you get some replacements. Book of words inside of here, all sorts about warnings, and I imagine about the warranty and stuff. Give that a good read when you first get it. An EU adapter. And then we have our battery charger, spring-loaded, so that you can recharge the battery. And then these 2 little pins are just going to sort of pin out, and then you can use that UK adapter to plug it in. Then we get the torch itself, so decent, compact little size. And I imagine if I unscrew it quickly, there'll be a battery inside, because it feels like there's a battery inside. There it is, a rechargeable, what's this, like a 18650? Yeah, battery. So yeah, let's take a closer look at the torch itself. Okay, so the torch itself, very small in stature, very simple design. Now this is a screw activation, so as you screw the head and the body together, it activates the torch. I'll show you the torch beam in a little bit. The head itself, single LED in the front, and then a reflector just around that. The main body of the torch, this is anodized aluminium with kind of a gunmetal grey kind of finish on it, which is matte and looks very smart. Bit of sort of cross-hatching on the head, and then lower down on the body, and then down here at the very tail you have an attachment loop for your lanyard. If you unscrew it and keep going, you'll see it has a double O-ring seal. So there's the first O-ring, and there's the second O-ring. And then on the inside, you have your rechargeable battery. Just some information on sort of how to use that battery properly. Now, doing it back up, I always like to unscrew torches a complete rotation until you hear a click, and that just helps let you know that the threads are lined up. And when you're doing it back up again, it should always be just finger tight. If it's anything more and you feel like you have to really force it, never force it, because you might have sort of cross-threaded those screw threads. Switching it on is pretty easy, so just keep going until you get to the very end, and then when it's fully tightened up, the torch activates. So this is the torch beam, so a fairly tight spotlight on this, so quite good for piercing through murky waters, but also for like sort of pointing things out and signaling to your buddies. You'll see there is a bit of a corona around it as well, so even though most of the light is focused in that tight beam, it's actually sort of illuminating a little bit around the sides as well, so you can still see where you're going. And then to switch it off, you just unscrew it, and you're done. Try not to unscrew it too much in the water, obviously, because the O-rings still need to seal. But all in all, yeah, pretty tough, powerful little backup torch. Right, so let's review the Guppy 2 torch. So we review torches with 4 different categories: the power that it's producing, the beam angle, because it's quite important to know how that quality of beam angle is, the extras that come with the torch, all the additional bits and bobs and the features that are on the torch itself, and of course the cost, and then we round those all up into an overall score. So starting off with the power setting, so 1200 lumens, 1000 1200 is pretty good for a torch this size, especially something as small as this is pretty good. So that's getting a score of 5 out of 5, especially when you consider that they say this has a burn time of anywhere between 1 hour and an hour and a half. For a backup torch with 1200 lumens is pretty good. That's a big boast for a torch this size. So yeah, 5 out of 5, easy score. Beam angle itself, fairly tight, somewhere in the kind of, I don't know, about 10-12 degrees. I don't have the measuring tools here with me, but yeah, it's a pretty focused beam. You do get a bit of a halo around it, but yeah, that's the most practical kind of beam angle. Something nice and tight, so it's going to pierce through murky waters, but also it's not illuminating everything or just blinding everyone in front of you. So again, 5 out of 5. Can't really fault it for the beam angle or the burn times as well. As far as extras, I only gave it 4 out of 5 because at some torches in this kind of range, you're getting extra features like battery level indicators and some extra bits and bobs. You do get a recharging sort of set, a cradle and the plugs, and you do get that nice case as well that goes with it. So yeah, 4 out of 5 is a fair score for this. And then as far as the cost, so this is really where you start to get a bit serious about your torches, and for the build quality and what you get with it, yeah, it sits in a really fair price point. And you get a lot of torch for what you're paying for it. It got 4 out of 5 again. Yeah, in this kind of price range, some torches, they do start to have battery level indicators and batteries that you can recharge through the body itself. But overall, yeah, it's you're getting a lot of torch for what you're paying. So as an overall score, it gets 9 out of 10. A good simple torch. If you're just after a torch, no frills, no fanciness, something that can just live inside your pocket or clipped off to a D-ring, and then it's there for whenever you need it to, and you can top up the battery whenever you want. Yeah, that's the Guppy 2, a good, tough little backup torch. Okay guys, so that's the Tausch Sport Guppy 2 torch, a small, compact, but tough, powerful little backup torch. In a lot of sort of blue water dives, you could use this just as a primary because it's kicking out plenty of light and it's not going to take up any space, and it's pretty easy just to hold in your hand and just shine into the reef to see where you're going. Yeah. Good little torch, nice and powerful and pretty tough as well. There's going to be more information on our website, simplyscuba.com. Just click on that link down below in the description. Thank you for watching, and of course, safe diving.